Good morning everyone, my name is Michelle, I hope you're doing well. Welcome to another video. It is Wednesday morning the 7th of May. In this video I want to continue my coverage into the missing siblings over in Canada. 6-year-old Lily and 4-year-old Jack Sullivan have been missing since Friday morning. And things are not looking good, they're really not. It's incredibly difficult terrain to search. The searchers are being bitten by ticks and bugs and scratched up. So I'm going to talk a little bit about the search and the latest and play a short video about what the drones can see. I also want to talk about Lily and Jack's parents, because a lot is being said. There's a lot of rumours, a lot of speculation, and some of that is true. So I want to address that in this video. So let's go. I am glad to see that more people are covering the case. I've seen a lot of YouTube videos now. A lot of YouTube creators are picking up on this case. When I first made my video about them over on my other channel, Michelle Walks, that was 3 days ago. Just a short video just to highlight that they're missing. No one was covering it apart from local news. So I'm glad that more people are picking up on it. But let's first talk about the search. And I'm reading this from CBC. And there's a couple of videos embedded within this that I want to play. Helicopters were back in the sky Tuesday as upwards of 150 searchers scoured the wooded areas below for 2 children who are believed to have wandered away from their home in Nova Scotia's Pictou County 5 days ago. So this will be either day 5 or day 6, depending on how you're counting it. If you count Friday, because they went missing Friday morning, then you're looking at the beginning of day 6. The search started last Friday morning when it's believed 6-year-old Lily Sullivan and 4-year-old Jack Sullivan strayed from their home on Gaylord Road in Lansdowne Station, about 25 kilometres southwest of New Glasgow. Now the police, their working theory is that Lily and Jack wandered away, but that has to be only on the word of the parents. That's the problem. It's so rural. I mean, look, it's incredibly unlikely that the cops will be helped by modern technology like surveillance cameras. The place is incredibly rural. So this is where Lily and Jack live, and we'll go down to ground level in a few minutes to look at the property itself. This is Gaylord Road. Police are pursuing all investigative avenues, and there's a variety of teams involved who are applying the tools and skills and the expertise needed to locate and bring Lily and Jack home. RCMP spokesperson Corporal Carly McCann told reporters Tuesday afternoon. This does remain a missing persons investigation. McCann would not say if there's been any sign of the children, but she stressed that police were following up on all information as it comes in. Now, there was talk, and the children's grandmother reported children's footprints were found. Now, there's a couple of different stories about this. So one was it was close, very close to the home, which would be understandable because Lily and Jack live there, so they play out. And the other was that this was on a natural gas pipeline. So were they footprints from the missing children, or were they footprints from previous, before they went missing? I guess is the thing that people are asking. And search dogs did track their scent down the driveway to the road, but then lost the scent. So again, that could be that Lily and Jack's scent is literally everywhere on that property and they run up and down that driveway. I'm not that convinced that that information is really useful, honestly. Staff Sergeant Josh Weiss, the incident commander at the site, said searchers, including people who've been on the scene since day one, are exhausted but optimistic. We want to bring these 2 children home to their parents, he told reporters. This is all search and rescue does, is try to bring people home safely. So they're trying to stay on focus and they're trying to stay on mission. RCMP said drones were in the air late Monday and into Tuesday in the rural community in the province's northeast. So I'm going to play this video here, 2.5 minutes, about how drones are used to search for missing children. This is really informative.
When someone goes missing, search and rescue teams kick into high gear, and new technology is starting to be used across the country to help in these searches. The RCMP have what's called forward-looking infrared, or FLIR technology. It's a kind of thermal imaging that detects heat signatures. In cases of missing persons, it can be used to find body heat in a forest.
It's been an incredible tool for us. We've had at least 2 finds with thermal imaging of subjects, and it just gives us the ability to operate in the dark.
The technology is often attached to a remotely piloted aircraft or drone, so it can scan specific areas and feed that information back to the operator on the ground. The operator will then analyze the footage and identify certain colors that may or may not be the missing person. Baldwin says it works really well in the winter because a person's body heat stands out. But he says it's more challenging during the summer months.
As we move into spring, summer here, we will be relying more on our visual camera for searching because the treetops, rocks, things like that retain heat, and they are very close in temperature to a person, and it makes it very hard to distinguish what you're looking at in the image.
Baldwin says the technology isn't capable of seeing heat underground or in the water, and tree cover can also hinder search efforts.
Drones are excellent for searching regions where it's hard to access on foot, cliffy areas, deep drainages, but where their obstacles come in is actually the canopy of the trees, so how dense the forest is. As we move into the spring here, everything's greening up. That makes it harder to penetrate to the forest floor. So that's where it is possible to fly over someone and not see them.
So while the technology is a helpful tool, he says nothing will replace on-the-ground searchers.
The most success you have is people on the ground calling out and getting a response. That by far has been the most successful way we've found people. But why not have drones in the air? Why not have helicopters? Why not use every tool available? Because it just does increase your range and the number of eyes on the scene.
Cassidy Chisholm, CBC News, Halifax.
So that's interesting. Talks about the limitations of drone searching. And people who are not familiar with missing person searches, I think, overestimate the capacity for technology to find people. This technology, as that drone operator said, is really good in open areas. It can cover a lot of ground very quickly. It can indicate colours and signatures on the ground that then ground searchers can go and really hone in on that area. But under a large canopy of very dense woodland like they have in that area, drones could so easily miss 2 children, and they're looking for heat signatures. Now, unfortunately, if Lilly and Jack have passed away, then by now their body heat is going to be the same as the surrounding area, so they're not going to be able to pick up deceased people at this point. It doesn't look good, it really doesn't, but they're pulling out all the stops, and I give them massive kudos for the amount of work that's being put in here. That technology is useful at night because the ground searchers, they have to stop at some point when it becomes too dangerous, but that technology can carry on throughout the night. And McCann said drones are effective at night because they use forward-looking infrared technology to spot differences in temperature, which can point people towards a specific area for ground searches. As I said, if a person's deceased and they've been deceased for a few days, then their body temperature is not going to stand out above the ground temperature. As the drone zipped overhead in the night sky, roughly 60 specially trained ground searchers and rescue members were combing the area below. The number of searchers swells to roughly 150 during the daytime hours. Police dogs have been assisting in the search, and it's also the first time the Nova Scotia Guard, a provincially organised volunteer group, has been deployed. The public has been asked to stay away as crews conduct their work. The children's stepdad, Daniel Martel, he has been out there, and a lot of people have got a lot of criticism of what Daniel is saying. People are pointing out that he's not really crying. His story is inconsistent with that of the children's mother, who spoke to reporters on Saturday. I played her interview in my video yesterday, so go and check that out. But he's 33. He was married previously, and he has 2 children with that first marriage. And I've heard, this may just be a rumour, that Daniel's family are still in contact. They still get on with his first wife. So I don't know whether they're that keen on Malaya, Jack and Lily's mother. But there was a big fight that kicked off on Saturday. So the 33-year-old man, that's Daniel, said Lily came into the bedroom several times and he could hear Jack in the kitchen. Then both of them say that the children must have opened the sliding door in the back, which is almost silent, and left. Now, look, a 6-year-old and a 4-year-old, possibly both on the autism spectrum. Their mother says that they're on the autism spectrum. I don't know whether that's an official diagnosis or not. Who have a little grasp of stranger danger. I've got a problem with them being allowed to play on their own when it's known that the sliding glass doors at the back can be opened easily and the children can just go away without them realising. I've got a problem with that. Why not put a lock on the door? Simple. It doesn't indicate to me that the parents did anything to the kids, but it does indicate perhaps that Lily and Jack are maybe used to going out and given a lot of freedom, and if the kids are up and about playing, what are the parents doing in the bedroom going back to sleep? Now, they've got a baby, so maybe the baby's up in the night and whatever, but, there's 2 of them. But one of them got up and looked after Lily and Jack. So I don't know whether I want to say there's some neglect here. There's rumours about drug use. I don't know whether that's true or not, but I've got a bad feeling about this. I do. I really do. Alright, so Martel said investigators with the RCMP's Major Crimes Unit spoke to him a few days ago and spoke with members of his family on Monday. Said he believes the children were abducted. Both of the parents here think that the children were abducted, but the cops have said there's no sign of an abduction. But what sign would there be? If they were walking along Gaylord Road and somebody just grabbed them and put them in a car, what signs would there be? Alright, I'm going to play this. This is only a short clip. And this is Daniel. And he does seem to be talking to the press quite a bit and getting a lot of flack for it.
I'm out here still searching, still fighting to try to find them. That's all I can do.
The message is still, if anyone knows anything.
If anybody knows anything, just come forward as soon as possible. 2 little kids are still out there. I want to find them. That's really all I can do. Still searching every day. I'm waiting for information. I have to let them do a lot of their stuff with the aircrafts and everything else, and dogs and searchers. There's a lot of stuff that needs to be coordinated, and I can't just go running through the woods. I want to, but I just can't right now because the search is just so far out.
Now, people are saying, he's pretending to cry and there's no tears. I'm reserving judgment, but I've got a bad feeling. I do. So the RCMP were taking statements from the very start. They just want to rule everything out before they switch from being, search and rescue to abduction. I think it's more likely they'd switch from search and rescue to an investigative phase where they're investigating the people closest to the children, actually. I think that's more likely what they're doing. Because, remember, in all missing persons cases where you've got this unusual set of circumstances, like 2 kids going missing at the same time, so young as well, and there's absolutely no sign of them that we know about, apart from a bit of scent and possibly some footprints, which may or may not have been from the time they disappeared. You also have this parallel investigation going on. Now, at some point, and it's probably going to be in the next few days, that big swell of ground searchers will start to decrease. and the investigation phase will be the primary. You know, if they are out there somewhere, it's likely to be a recovery mission. Less urgent. Obviously, the urgency is recovering them alive, but once it's deemed that time has been sufficient that they couldn't possibly be alive in the woods, then it's a recovery mission, less urgent, and the investigation really kicks up a gear. And that's where major crimes units come in. And they will explore all possibilities. One of those possibilities will be abduction. But the big possibility will be that these children were harmed in some way. We have to say it as it is, harmed in some way by the people closest to them. Now, a lot is being said about Lily and Jack being off school. Now, I think Lily was in school on Monday. I've heard that they were off the rest of the week, so Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Others have said that they were just off Thursday, Friday. Now, Daniel works at a sawmill and he was also off work on Friday, so a lot going on here. When asked on Tuesday if Major Crimes Unit is involved, an RCMP spokesperson said a variety of teams are working on the missing persons investigation in order to provide tools, skills and resources as necessary. Daniel Martel said after the disappearance, the children's mother left the area to be with her family in another part of the province and has blocked him on social media. Now, the reason being was her family and his family had a kick-off on Saturday night, and apparently people who were listening to the scanners, it came over the scanner that there was a domestic disturbance at the property. So this is what Daniel said about it. My mother had to kick some people off the property because they were saying that I did it. Did what is the question. I had something to do with it, and I'm the only one here fighting for them, which is sad, he said. The children's mother, Malaya Brooks Murray, told CTV on Saturday that she was trying to stay hopeful. I want to hold them, and I want them home, she said. But then, the same day, she left to be with her family on a reservation some miles away, because it all kicked off, and Daniel's mother, I assume whose property they're living on, kicked them off. And Malaya has took the baby. Now, some are saying that CPS is involved. I don't know whether that's true or not. So now, that's the trailer that Jack and Lily were living in, but there is another structure behind this. So I think that's where his mother lives. I don't know how big this property is. If anybody knows, let me know, but apparently, dogs track them down this driveway. It's not a long driveway, but lost it, apparently. That's what's being said. But, yeah, domestic disturbance. So it all kicked off. And Malaya's family are blaming Daniel, but why? Is there problems in that family to begin with? Again, I'm reserving judgment. Robert Parker, the warden of the municipality of Pictou County, said everyone is hoping and praying for good news. But as the days pass, we are wondering what's going to happen next. He described the mood in the region of roughly 43,000 people as tense. No one is giving up. He told CBC's Information Morning Nova Scotia on Tuesday morning. These children have almost become everybody's children in this county. Parker noted it's human nature to jump to conclusions, but he's urged the public to temper their comments, especially on social media. Oh, there's a lot of comments, and it's going to get worse. People are saying this is the Canadian version of Summer Wells, and honestly, I can see some parallels with the Summer Wells case. That's not good, is it? There's always people who want to say something that's hurtfully said. We have to remember kindness. And I'll go with that. But again, I'm reserving judgment. Martel said Jack is in pre-primary and Lily is in primary. They were not at school on Friday because Lily had a cough, and they were also homesick from school on Thursday. But we have heard that they were potentially off Tuesday, Wednesday as well. So people are saying, well, maybe something happened to them earlier in the week, and this is now a story that they're using to cover this up. And we can't discount anything at this stage. He said Brooks Murray is a stay-at-home mom and he works at a local sawmill, but work has slowed down in recent weeks and he was not at work on Friday. So is there financial problems in the family? Maybe that's causing some issues. Pair of a young daughter together, Martel said she's currently with her mother on the reservation. He said Jack and Lily are not just siblings, they're like best friends. Jack loves bugs and dinosaurs and Lily loves girly things. So that's an informative article. And there's a lot in there to consider. I'm not going to blame the parents for anything like murder. I don't see that there's evidence of that. However, there clearly are issues here. And is that, even if it's indirectly, the cause of these two children going missing? We have to keep a very open mind, I think. Yes, there's a possibility they've wandered away. And they haven't been found because the woodland is just so dense. But how far, really, could they have got? Yeah, a 6-year-old and a 4-year-old. We do have to remember that kids can walk a long way. Do you remember this that I put on Michelle Walks a couple of weeks ago? This little toddler, his 2-year-old, walked 7 miles in the Arizona wilderness before being found by a rancher's dog, good old Buford, the rancher's dog, who took this little kid and brought him to safety. But he walked 7 miles, way outside of a search area. I think they're doing a 2.2 mile radius in Lilly and Jack's case. But that's 2.2 miles of very dense woodland. And this kid in Arizona, yes, it's wilderness, there's plenty of dangers, and mountain lions and coyotes and things. It's not dense woodland. Dense woodland, you struggle to walk a few yards without being prickled and bitten, and I don't know that Lily and Jack could have got that far. So we do have to keep an open mind, a really open mind, that literally all things are on the table at the moment, in my view anyway. So let me know what you think in the comments, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye guys.